wanted to do a video because I'm bored and I'm really sick and I can't do anything else. This is going to have a lot of cuts. Just be forewarned. Mostly, a lot of stuff I want to do is in response to shit I see on Facebook, because it's driving me insane. And a number of things, but one is, I don't want to say criticism of Donald Trump. I have lots of criticisms of Donald Trump I agree with, but that's one of my point, is that I don't agree all of my criticisms have nothing to do with the ones I'm seeing on Facebook, for example, or Twitter, or what have you. My God, things that Donald Trump has done that I think are total bullshit. The pro-life thing, the Saudi arms deal, garbage. That is total garbage. The wall is nonsense. The wall will do nothing and be expensive. This stupid shit. But here's kind of where my thesis comes in, is that the criticism seems to be directed at anything he tries to do correctly. And this kind of folds into something I've called the poison person principle. And I don't think before this moment I've actually said that aloud before. Having said it aloud actually sounds kind of stupid, but my head is filled with so much junk right now. Poison person principle. The idea is, for example, let's say you have an awesome kitchen. It's stocked with awesome ingredients, specifically to make sandwiches. And the person in the kitchen who you've asked to make a sandwich is really good at making sandwiches. They can do other things, they have other qualities, but they're really good at making sandwiches. But, that person is Hitler. So obviously that sandwich is going to be awful. It's going to taste terrible. If it doesn't kill you, it'll make you really sick. Because Hitler is a terrible person, ergo anything a terrible person does is terrible. It is not possible for a person you think is bad to do anything good. They cannot do good. So what does this have to do with Donald Trump? My point being, he can do no right to some people. And that's awful, because it distorts any discussion about, what should be done in politics, what is being done, current events, if you absolutely believe that the person in office cannot do anything right. I mean, absolutely nothing. Make a sandwich. Nothing at all. It is not possible for them to do something good. Well, if you believe that's the case, you're just going to focus on negative shit. You're going to focus on the stupid shit. Or you're going to focus on trivial shit. Case in point, the pussy grabbing thing. I so strongly disagree with Donald Trump's protectionist policies, particularly for corporations, his view on immigration, the fact that he said some shit 11 years ago that taken out of context sounds really bad, because it is kind of bad. You can just grab him in the pussy. The fact that's the thing that gets all the attention is just drives me out of my mind. And once again, I apologize. I cannot talk really loud. So I'm going to have to, when I edit this, just crank the volume. My point with the pussy thing is that got a lot of attention. What didn't get a lot of attention, I think, was the fact that he apologized for that profusely. And it was a decent apology. It was, here, let me pull this up. Donald Trump. I've never said I'm a perfect person, nor pretended to be someone I'm not. I've said and done things that I regret, and words released today on this more than a decade old are one of them. I said it was wrong, and I apologize. And he said that a little while back. Like, I think he was still campaigning when he said that. My point being, that got no attention whatsoever, because it's all about what's the narrative, how do you spin this way or that way. Sincere apologies. And that was, I don't know, but I suspect that was a factor in one of the things that got him elected. It's the fact that he would just say, hey, I fucked up. I'm really sorry. You don't hear politicians say that. You never hear politicians say that. I'd argue the last 3 presidents have fucked up a lot, and I don't remember them ever saying they're sorry for shit. You know, like, they just don't. That's not, it's like everything's a debate, everything is spin. You don't win debates by saying you're sorry. The fact that he did, it made him more human, I guess. And he apologized for it. What else is he gonna do? What else can he do? And that's leading in, that's kind of the point I'm trying to get to, is like, if you don't let someone succeed, they're in your mind, they're going to fail. There's always going to be a disconnect between you and them. If you've just convinced yourself that this person is awful and irredeemable, then nothing they can do can be right. Even if almost certainly Donald Trump is going to end up doing something that progressives are going to like, or would like, if they paid attention to it and opened themselves to it. So what I wanted to do is, I wanted to do just a list of things that I think he did right. That I think not only that he did that I think are like kind of, cool or adequate things to do, or reasonable things for a president to do. But I think most people would agree with him, most reasonable or centrists or whatever, if you want to pull it that way. Just do a quick list of that and then get out of this thing, because I can't do much more. I'm not a fan of red tape. I'm not a fan of needless bureaucracy. Anything that cuts down on needless bureaucracy is awesome. A few years ago, in fact it might even be half a decade at this point, Canada, the Canadian government, instituted a policy where everything, on their budget anyway, anything that's added had to be married to something being removed from the budget. In other words, you can't add something, you have to remove it as well. Very clever. As much as Canada is lauded as a socialist American-ish paradise, that's very libertarian, but also fiscally conservative. Very fiscally conservative, very cool. Donald Trump is doing something similar, has done. He's apparently kept this thing where he did I forget what it was called, Pledge with America, whatever the hell it was, where for every new regulation you have to get rid of 2. How that's going to pan out, I don't know. It depends on a lot of people who aren't Donald Trump. But that doesn't fix all corruption. It doesn't fix mires of bureaucracy, but that is a very nice step in the right direction. So that's one thing. Tried to place a lifetime ban on White House officials lobbying foreign governments. And this one's interesting, because if you can get that to stick to the wall, that's pretty amazing. There are some quarters that have treated the Donald Trump presidency as the coming of the Antichrist. Literally, I mean, just like, this is a disaster, this will end the world. This, not just this country, but it will destroy the world. I don't think that's the case. I think the easiest way to lose an argument is to overstate your premise. And they've done that. What's more is, if some of the stuff he's trying works, he could be like a historic president, like someone who everyone remembers. Like, not like James K. Polk or someone that's like, hey, oh, that guy was a president? More like an Abraham Lincoln or or George Washington or Thomas Jefferson. Like someone like 100 years from now will know that. Jimmy Carter presidency, no one's going to remember that in a century. That'll be a trivia fact on like whatever the 22nd century equivalent of Trivial Pursuit is. Ditto Obama. I don't think he's going to be a historic president. Everyone's making him out to be. Like, oh, the first black president. It's like, once again, it'll be a trivia. Be a piece of trivia. It's killing me. I don't particularly like Donald Trump, but he's going to be like a historic president. It's so stupid. Oh, God, there's this bit on the TV show Archer where it's the ants thing. Like someone will drop some Szechuan chicken or something like that on the floor, and someone else will go, "Do you want ants? Do you want ants? Because this is how you get ants." It's a cute bit. It was funny, made me laugh. But every time I see the Young Turks, like, develop a conspiracy theory as to why this happened or that happened, just on the fly, or people like call Trump the worst president ever when he really hasn't had a chance to do that much. I'm like, in my head, I'm like thinking, do you want 8 years of Donald Trump? Do you? Because this is how you get it. This is exactly how you get it. I think liberal progressives have done more to make Trump a two-term president. Certainly more than Republicans. Oh my God. I didn't want Trump. Definitely did not want Trump. I mean, like a Mark Rubio or someone like that. Oh. At least one more. Air traffic control. Trump recently signed, very recently, like that, let me check, I think that was this week. That was this Monday. Was it this Monday? No, it was last Monday. Okay, so a week ago. Donald Trump signed a thing, I'm not going to go into it, but basically he wants to modernize, specifically privatize, air traffic control. The thing is, air traffic control in the United States is really messed up. It's the one part of our airport system that's really, really primitive. It hasn't changed much in 60 years. It's largely subsidized. Once again, this is an idea that is not, it's not groundbreaking or anything like that. Canada, the UK, I believe Germany as well, totally privatized their air traffic control. They don't rely on subsidies. They just use user fees to pay for it. It's either a private for-profit company or it's a non-profit. I think his plan is a non-profit, or would just pay for itself. That's a great idea. It's one of those things, like, why on earth are you subsidizing air traffic control? Okay. Other stuff he's done, I think my stated premise there is stuff that I think other people can get on board with. Like, if you examine it objectively, some of the stuff he's done is objectively good. Then we're campaign promises that he's kept. Funny that. So, other stuff he's done that I agree with, like pulling out of the Paris Environmental Conference thing, which was an awful, awful deal. It was a wasteful use of funds. I agree with, but I think a lot of people are just on board with that on general principle. I think, genuinely, if people looked at that objectively, they'd see that's a good goal, but a very wasteful way, very inefficient way of reaching it. In other words, was that an informed decision? I don't know. But it ultimately, whether or not it was a good thing to do. It was probably the right thing to do. But things like that, like, I think that those were good things to do, but I don't think everyone would agree with me, even if they looked at it objectively. People just like environmentalism. See it as kind of faddish, so they'll agree with it. I'm trying to think of a cogent paradigm there. I really like Transformers. Like, I really do. Like, I'm a huge, huge fan. I can name most of them. And there's a lot of them. So, when I saw the Michael Bay movie, the very first one, I'm like, it's really terrible. But I'm not going to say it's really terrible, because I really like Transformers. And it was cool to see them in live action. Even if they had almost no dialogue and looked horrible. Just on general principle, like Transformers, so I'm not going to poo-poo a live-action Transformers movie. It would take, not the second one, but the third, fourth, it would take 2 more awful, awful movies before I'm just, this is shit, I refuse to watch them. Likewise, I think environmentalism is kind of the same way. It's like people like it for good reason. You know, it's environmentalist, the environment. But will support bad policies, bad ideas, and bad solutions just on the general principle of like, yeah, even a bad solution is better than nothing. I disagree with that. Like, you know, efficiency. Things are limited, so you have to do what's efficient. Anyway, I'm getting off track. So, that's me. I swear to God, I'm out. I am so out right now. I might take another nap. So I'm not doing so great.